One. There we go. Hey, everyone. I am Mike from Inflatable Falcon, and I'm here with, and Carida Cast, and I'm here with Zoe from,
Star Wars Geek Girl.
of course. And we thought we'd just mess around and do a podcast today. Whoops, let me turn my phone off. Mess around, do a podcast today just to talk about. You're getting close to your 300th episode.
Yeah.
I was hoping it was going to land on your 10th anniversary, but it didn't quite work that way.
Yeah.
But it's close to your 300th episode. Close to, you started your 10th year, right? Because we just had 9.
Yeah.
I don't know how that actually works. Like we did 9th anniversary, right?
Yeah.
9th anniversary. So you're starting your, I guess you're starting your 9th year, getting ready to be your 10th year.
Mm-hmm.
And you trooped today, and you've been trooping for how long?
17 years.
17. Man. So first off, Zoe, what are we going to do today's show about? We'll do it. It doesn't have to be any kind of length.
Oh, I mean, there was a new Skeleton Crew trailer yesterday. We could also talk about the bingo that we did.
Yes, bingo, Skeleton Crew. What else?
That's about it. Nothing. I mean, there's
Trooping.
Halloween.
You trooped.
Trooping?
We both trooped. We both trooped this week. So that's yeah. So let's start with the bingo first, because that was last week, right?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
No, I think it was a week. I think it was 1 week ago. Yesterday.
Okay. All right.
It was.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah, because this past Halloween week kind of blurred together for me.
Yeah.
All right. So, first off, what gave you the idea to do bingo for your podcast?
I mean, because everyone, when we were in September, everyone was planning all this fun stuff for 10 years of Rebels, which was last month.
Right.
And so people are doing all these like rewatches and all this stuff. And I thought it seemed pretty cool. And I just remember when I was in school, I had some teachers who would do review bingo before a test.
Oh, okay.
And so it was like they'd do bingo, but instead of calling a number, they'd say, like it was math, they'd say like a math problem. And then you had to solve the problem and then find if the answer was on your bingo board.
Oh, okay.
And like that kind of thing. And I always thought it was fun. I didn't really win a lot.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I always thought it was fun. A fun way to do something like that. And so I was thinking about that and like trivia. It's a fun way because all sorts of events are fun and trivia events are fun.
Right.
And like random prize drawings for those can also be fun. But I think it's nice to have like a little bit of a balance so that like I feel like everyone has more of a chance to win. Because when it's totally random, it's just totally random.
Right.
But then when it's just like a pure trivia contest, which, again, can be fun. I've played a lot of those. But then it's like, it is pure, like, if you're someone who's just maybe a bit more of a casual fan, like, you have no shot.
Right. Yeah, that's true. True.
So when and I don't feel like my trivia questions were super hard, except maybe the ships.
The ships were tough.
But
the ships were tough.
But I feel like when it's trivia bingo, like you have the leg up when you know the trivia and you know all this stuff. But It's also like, it's a bit random. Like, so someone who isn't as hardcore into the trivia still the chance if the right stuff is called based on their board. And you're not guaranteed to win if you know all the trivia just because you don't know what's going to be called right to get bingo. And so I thought it was fun to do an event where you had the balance of both a little bit more. Obviously, everyone can't win with stuff like this.
Right. Well, I was part of it, and I thought it seemed like everyone was having a good time.
That's what it seemed like it, yeah.
I mean, we had a few technical glitches at the beginning.
Yeah, well, that was just my laptop couldn't handle running Restream and Discord together.
Yeah.
That's all it was, because I think my laptop's almost 5 years old now.
Uh-oh.
So it still works well, but when I have it, if I have it doing too many things at once, then it gets mad.
So, yeah, you have to run the disk utility on that sucker.
Yeah.
And
well, I've cleared off. I got an external drive and cleared a lot of files off of it.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
Which helped a lot because it was running really slow for a while. So I don't have that many big files. I don't think I have like almost any video files on it. Basically, I have a lot of video files, and they're almost all on my hard drive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you run disk utility sometimes too, it'll just it's the equivalent to defragging on a PC.
But yeah, but other than that, it went well. It was fun. So we were talking about maybe we could do one in person, like at a con, or like as a panel at a con. You could, on Amazon, you can get like a little bingo thingy.
Yeah. So that was my question was, like, what was the behind the scenes like what did you do to make it?
Yeah. So
like start with like I guess the questions would be the first thing you start with.
Yeah, so the first thing I did, so bingo, like regular bingo is 75. Is 1 through 75 is the numbers, and that's what regular bingo is. And then B is 1 through 15, I is 16 through 30, and so on up to 75. So the first thing I did was I picked BINGO. You have 5 categories. So I made the 5 categories, which were rebel characters, empire characters that didn't really fit into one or the other, and then planets, and then ships. Those were my 5 categories. And then I made I made like a Google Doc with like a table.
Right.
And it was each number, color coded by category. And then I just assigned each character, planet, or ship a number. So,
and then what did you do? Use like a random number generator to?
Well, I used it on there. I actually downloaded a bingo caller app.
Oh, okay.
The bingo caller app, it remembers what you've called, so it makes it a lot easier for me.
Oh, nice.
Because they always have you verify to make sure you did mark down the right numbers when you call bingo. In regular bingo, with trivia bingo, it's more important. I think we had a couple times where someone read and they had, maybe mismarked a character or a ship or a planet because they didn't get the question right. So you had to make sure. And so with the bingo caller, it kept track of which numbers had been called in a round. So I could talk with them to make sure everything was called right.
Okay. You should maybe write an article on this and put links to the stuff you use.
Yeah. Well, I pretty much just use Google Docs and the bingo caller app.
Yeah. Well, I was just wondering because I was playing and I was just wondering how you're keeping track of
yeah. So it was just with the bingo caller app, which was nice. But yes, I had each number. I had like a table, and it was a number, and then what character it was, and then I came up with all the questions. So it was 75 questions I had to come up with.
Oh, nice.
One character, and it was never really questions. They were trivia statements that applied to different people.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, someone in the chat in Instagram said they would read that article if you wrote an article on how you build.
Then maybe that'll be because I've been having writer's block with writing Geek Girl articles.
Well, there you go. See?
Explaining bingo. But yeah, and I think.
I'm sorry. Well, I think it's just like podcasting. You have been doing this for over 9 years, really, and sometimes people just need help from someone to get stuff started. Like I've always the true nature of podcasting is the podcaster should help other podcasters. That's just what it was initially developed for when it branched off of blogs and stuff like that. And that's Fordo. That's one of my listeners that's on that. But yeah, I don't know why the chats for Instagram are not showing up on our chat thing.
That's all right.
They just changed Restream, so we're using a whole different format. But I think if you put that up there, like there could be someone who just wants. Maybe it could even lead into maybe they want to start a podcast, but they need some some people want to have some back issues before they get started or something.
Yeah.
So it might be a fun article if you just give some step-by-steps, because I know how organized and stuff like you and your mother are. Yeah. I think that would be a really interesting article.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to think.
So that was the questions.
Yeah. And then coming up with questions, I made sure to not make it too hard.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I wanted it to be like a little bit challenging,
Right.
but I
Right.
didn't want it to, especially because like it's one thing. Because I feel like with bingo, like it's like if the questions are hard for bingo, that makes it even harder than normal trivia. Because normal trivia, you're already kind of in that mode. You're thinking with bingo, like you want to keep things moving a little bit more,
Right.
and it's not, people are looking at all these because they're not just thinking of what the answer to this question is. They're also thinking of what do I have on my board. You know
Right.
what I mean? And so I don't want to like confuse people too much. But I tried my rule for myself with bingo is if I know it off the top of my head, then it's a good question. Which sometimes even that I was like, this is sometimes I would hold myself back because I know a lot about Rebels off the top of my head.
Right.
It was my same rule. That's what I did, and when I played Rebels Jeopardy with Sal and Lizzy, I made those questions. That was my same rule, and I stumped Sal a couple
Oh,
times.
really? Really? Well,
I
that you should
did.
have got a
You
trophy
gotta
for
listen to
that.
that episode. Yeah, which is surprising. But there were some that were really hard questions, and I didn't want to, I wasn't trying to trick people. So I generally was like, I should know it off the top of my head, and then I would just Google and verify that it is true, like I wasn't wrong.
Yeah, I
But
always
also,
have to.
I had to be careful with this to make sure nothing applied to more than one character,
Right. Right.
because I didn't want to
That's
say a
true.
statement that could apply. You know what I mean? And so that was what I'd be careful with.
Yeah, you could have started a whole. No, I think
Yeah,
everyone that played was like super nice,
yeah, it was
and
great. And yeah, I think if I would, and then I had to make the bingo boards after the questions.
well, okay. So you got the questions. You got
Yeah.
the how you picked questions. Here, let me hang on. Let me see if I'm trying to. I'm trying to. Again, I don't know why the chats. We do have a couple other people on Instagram, and I see you guys. So thank you for joining. I don't know why the chat's not showing, but let me show you the bingo card. I don't know if the resolution is going to be great on this or not. Um, so there is the bingo card. I don't know how to have it where we show up.
Well,
Uh,
we're still on the side there.
are we? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have my
we're
bingo
still
card.
small.
Yeah, so there's the bingo card I got. So
Mm-hmm.
so talk about like your thoughts and how you designed the bingo card.
Yeah. So, well, first I wanted to make it clear which each of the categories were, especially because I always like to say what the category was. Because I mean, in bingo they always say, they don't just say like 12; they say B12, like
Right, right,
whatever the number is. So that's why I always said the category. But also, like I said, because that's what I was talking about with when I was making the questions, like compared to normal trivia or normal bingo, you're thinking a bit more in a sense of like you're not just thinking about the question, you're thinking about what you have on your card. So like
right,
I was
right.
like, if I could streamline a little bit so people know which column they're looking in, make it a bit easier for them. So that's what I labeled all the things. I was thinking about making it Rebel instead of bingo, but I
Yeah.
decided to keep it bingo. And then I just put little symbols at the top to show which category was which on the columns, which I think probably would have been clear without it anyway, but I thought it looked nice.
Yeah, no, I thought
Yeah.
I liked it.
And then actually making the cards. So if you guys followed us during the whole, when we were like promoting bingo, there was almost, I think it was like a 3 or 4 day gap between when I closed the signups and
Oh,
when the game was. And that was because I was working and I wanted to make sure I had enough time to make the bingo cards because I had to make each one myself. Um, so what I did was I made a Photoshop file with my bingo template, and I got images of all 75 characters, planets, and ships, and
that's sometimes the hardest thing.
yeah, and I resized them. But the lucky thing with Rebels, I think, compared to some of the more recent Star Wars TV shows, is Rebels did a lot of little promotion that I think new Star Wars shows are missing. So there's a lot of characters, especially season 1. There's a
Oh,
lot
okay.
like, already high quality, transparent background promotional images for minor characters like Taskmaster Grint, for example, or Makathua, because they were used in like sticker books and like little like things where they show up everywhere, and so we have these images, which I think sometimes we don't have as much of that anymore with some of the new shows, especially the live action ones.
Right,
like,
right.
Actors. So that was nice. Just the fact that it was Rebels, I think, made that easier. Although the one thing I ran into was with some stuff, especially since Ahsoka, because I wanted to make sure I used all images from Rebels. Like I didn't want to use a picture of like Sabine from Ahsoka, for example.
Right.
But with some of the planets and ships, I had to be really careful. Like, is this Rebels? Is this Ahsoka? Some Rebel stuff appears in like Bad Batch, and like, is this Bad Batch? Like making sure I'm using something from Rebels. That was the two I struggled the most with for that were Ryloth.
Yeah.
Ryloth, Clone Wars, and Bad Batch a lot, and I had to make sure I was using a Rebels picture. Thrawn's ship, the Chimera, which was the only Star Destroyer I had besides the Interdictor on there.
Yeah, yeah.
But Thrawn's ship, I had to make sure. I think the image I used for Thrawn's ship actually isn't technically in the show Rebels, but it's one of the concept art pictures that they post. So I was like, it's close enough.
Yeah, the ships and the planets were the hardest for me because I was like, oh man, I need some words or something. That was the hardest.
Yeah. But yeah, so then what I did, so I made all the images and then I loaded them into my Photoshop file. And then I generated, so I forget how many, it was like, I think it was only like 15, maybe a little bit more than that, cards I ended up having to make. And so, no, I think it was 18 cards I had to make. And so what I did was I went to a bingo card generator online. I was using this, and I just generated random bingo cards. And then I went through my doc with all the different characters and what numbers they are, and then just basically recreated the bingo cards that I generated with the images in Photoshop. And so I just move all the pictures into place, export it into a PNG, as we used, and then go to the next generated card, move all the pictures into place to match that card, and so on.
So they were true. They were truly random then.
Yes, truly 100% random. Every character, like every number, appeared at least once across the cards. There were a few, like I think, like I didn't count. Maybe I should go back and count. I still have all the cards on my computer. But it was like I felt like I was putting Mark Matten on a lot of cards. I feel like Mark Matten was on a lot of cards. TIE Fighter was on a lot of cards, but then I was like Sabine. I think Sabine was only on 2 cards, which is probably good because that was the one. If you remember, that was like one of the 2 numbers that wasn't called was the number for Sabine.
Yeah.
Interdictor were the only numbers not called the whole night, but it's wild because we did six rounds. And,
yeah.
Every other number was called.
Yeah, I was surprised at how many rounds we got in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we had people play from all over.
People play from all over. Yeah, we just sent out all the packages, all the gifts.
Except for the one to Canada and John's. That's the only 2 that didn't. Yeah. So now, we went over the question.
I'll get if you're listening to this and you want a prize, I'll get a tracking number to you shortly.
Yes, I instead of typing the tracking numbers right now, I'm podcasting. So that's on me. That's not no reflection on Zoe.
But yeah, I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, so I made the cards. And yeah, then we played. So we used Discord to play just because it was something where everyone could participate. Because Discord, you get a million calls. And that was fun. I was really nervous the first round because no one was talking. And I was like, yeah, people are focused, I guess. But I was still nervous because I want people to have fun. And then I noticed the chat, like the text chat was kind of blowing up. And I was like, oh, okay, there we are. People are having fun.
Yeah.
And I set up a Discord. And then that's what we played with. I tried to stream it to restream. My computer couldn't handle it. But I think we ended up streaming like the back half. Or was more than half.
Yeah. I got some of it. I mean, the problem was I left my mic on, and so it has some of my talking over it, and I was getting the B wing wrong. I remember I kept saying Y wing. I knew it was the B wing, like I knew what it looked like, but I kept saying that, so I looked like a not so good fan. So,
Yeah.
Charlie Gibbons popped in. Remember you
Oh,
went to
hi.
his remember you went to his science class when
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Hi.
How and someone I think someone hoped we had. They said Cappy Halloween. I'm hoping they mean happy and not crappy.
Well, or it could be Cappy like capybara Halloween.
What's that mean?
Like a capybara, the animal.
Oh, okay,
The little
okay,
fuzzy
okay,
guys. Could be Cappy.
okay.
Um
Yeah, you did
yeah.
science. You did science with Mr. Gibbons.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's how I made the cards, and then we played the game. If I remember well, I wrote down because I had the sign up was on a Google Sheet,
yeah,
and we did the sign ups. I had like a whole block of text about how the game works, and there's like a checkbox, make sure people understand what they're getting themselves into. And then I had them put in their name, email, so I could send the bingo card to them, and I think that was it, actually. That was it on the form. And then I put all that into a spreadsheet, and I used that spreadsheet to keep track of when I made their bingo card, when I sent it out to them, and and what number bingo card they got.
oh, okay, yeah,
Just keep track of that. And also, because we also had it, I had people put in, that was the other thing on the form, because we had, you could get a second bingo card with a charity donation.
right.
And so I had a place on the form where they could submit their screenshot of their receipt
Nice.
for their to get their second bingo card, and then that was another thing on the spreadsheet was like if they're getting second bingo card and what number that one was too.
So now, yeah. So I was going to say. So now,
I wrote down the winners like in what order, and then emailed them in order. Luckily, one thing I was worried about was because I didn't want to give like people a time limit to respond to the email in case they just miss it. But then I was like, well, what if someone takes like a week and doesn't get back to me? But luckily, everyone got back to me pretty quickly. I think I was able to email. I sent out an email. The last person got back to me a little late with their address, but I was able to email everybody within I think like 2 days. I think I had reached out to everyone.
Well, that comes to my next question would be, so if you're writing your article and you explain all this, then I'm picturing like the last couple paragraphs would be, what would you do different or better? So like I'll speak from the
first one. I would write the ship names on the cards. That would be the first one because I wrote because on the bingo cards, I wrote down planet names because I had a lot for as many as I could. I just had the picture of like the planet like in space. Like there were a few where there wasn't a good picture of that, and so I had to use like a location like on the planet, like a landscape. I tried to use like the ball planet, and I was like, well, if someone's like colorblind, that's going to be impossible for them.
That's true.
With all the balls. So I wrote down the planet names, and then the ships I was considering naming, I ended up not, because when I thought about it, I would have had to redo half of the cards I'd already made.
Yeah.
And I frankly didn't feel like doing it, but because I was like, well, they're like they're all different shapes, so it's fine. But I think if I could go back, I think I would put a name on them because I think most of them were pretty easy. Like you have like the Ghost, the Phantom, TIE Fighter, that. But I think I would have named because you had some like you had Sato's Hammer, which a lot of people might not remember.
Right. I couldn't remember the name. I just remembered what the ship looked like.
Yeah, we had like Phoenix Home, and all that. And so I think I would have labeled those because I think some weren't quite as distinct and memorable.
Yeah.
The characters I think are very easy to distinguish.
And I thought the contest was awesome. Like I was thinking, look, if I win, I'm not going to win. I didn't think that would be fair, but I didn't win anyway. Like I wasn't winning any. But I thought when I say things you would change, I'm not saying that anything needed changed. But I think Maddie's dad just said hi too. I think.
Oh, hi.
And I saw briefly Kristen Baber was on. I think Ken would have a fit if he knew that. he would try to join the show if he saw Kristen Baber stop by, watching the show. But anyway, I wasn't saying things you would change because it needed change. I just know as someone who has to teach lessons every day. You always try to think of like,
Mhm.
well, what corner could I fix? And
Yeah.
as the person who did your shipping, my only change would be it has to fit in a 12 by 12 by 12 box. That
That's
that
fair. My
that
counterpoint to that is that you're the one that said, "Well, I could print an animated stormtrooper
well, yeah,
helmet."
no, and
But
I forgot how large the animated stormtrooper helmet. It's like the FX bucket. So it's like the FX bucket compared to the real helmet. Like I think back when I first started trooping, when you started trooping
Mhm.
17 years ago, um, how big that FX bucket is, and you forget. And when I
Yeah.
printed that animated one, I forgot how much larger it is. Axle's on, so Axel, if you want
Yeah,
to jump
Axel.
in, let us know, man. I'll send you a link. Um,
Um, yeah, yeah. In fairness, my suggestions were the Sabine print you already had in the garage, a Hera pistol. My suggestions were small things. You were the one that went big.
yours were I had to get a little greedy.
But it
Um,
looked great, and I'm sure the person who received it will be very excited, and hopefully they'll post a
yeah.
picture with it, and
Well, if we
I'll
do
get
it
to see
again, we'll have to
them.
get Sal to paint it, and we'll um, stuff like that.
You still look pretty good.
if we do a live one, I would
Mhm.
love to have Sal paint one because I was
Yeah.
looking at his tutorial and I was like, oh, I don't have time to do this. Um, but
Um,
I thought the bingo was great. So, but again, if and I think people would enjoy the article. If you wrote an article, you might want to put just some of those points, like if someone if you are this now this isn't coming from Zoe, this is coming from me. If you're someone who is going to ship prizes, some things you would think about is size of prizes. If anything's bigger than 12, if it won't fit in a 12 by 12 by 12 box, you have to pay an additional fee. Um, and I would definitely think about that. And depending on what country your podcast is located in, check the shipping and stuff like that beforehand.
and I will say I think because our only out of country winner was Canada,
Yeah,
which isn't too bad because it's not going overseas.
no,
But and she also very kindly I won't like dox her, I won't say her name, but she very kindly offered to pay for shipping and offered an American address we could send it to, also
yeah,
for boyfriend.
yeah.
So
So
anyway, shout
I
out to
don't,
her for being considerate of us for that.
yeah. Oh, and that's just something you learn from doing it. But yeah,
Mhm.
I would probably in the small print, put ship outside of country may incur shipping costs or something like that. Um,
Yeah.
in small print because I don't think any of the fans want and all podcasts unless you're like some super rich podcast that has tons of money. Um, in all the podcasts, I would imagine all of the people listening would just want you to, have fun. But and I thought
Mhm.
everyone that won, um, yeah, and that's what I was wondering. Like, would you have like if we do prizes, the next time we do it, like say we do it in a con, is it better to just say, okay, the first winner gets this because
Yeah,
you know how like time flies at a panel. If someone
yeah.
if every winner takes a couple seconds to pick their, it just
Yeah.
says first winner gets this one, next winner gets this one. You know,
Yeah, I think if I was doing it, I don't think if I did another online one, I don't know if I'd change it.
yeah,
If I was doing another one online, because that way you're not held to a time limit like you would be with a con necessarily.
right,
And that's the other thing with a con, like depending on a panel, like, usually the panels we get are 1 hour is
right.
how long you have. And
No,
so if
it's
it's
a
that, we might only have like 2 or 3 prizes versus we had 6.
celebration had time requests on the last one, so
Yeah, but I'm saying typically we've only done 1 hour. That's like a
right,
typical panel
right.
at a con. It's 1 hour. And so I might only do because I think we ended up running I think about an hour and a half, 2 hours
Oh, okay.
for this one.
Yeah, yeah,
So I might just do 2 or 3 prizes versus 6 like we did.
yeah. Well, it was
But I
nice.
think
I think,
yeah, I think online I think this worked.
yeah,
Um the way that we did it since like you get to pick your prize. I think if I was doing it in person, I might do it that way where I'm like, here's the round for this one. Especially because we had a lot of small prizes for this one where I think if I was doing it at a con, I might just do 2 or 3 like bigger prizes.
right, right.
Um, but then So yeah, that's what I think I would do. I'd love to do it at a con, maybe Philly Fan Expo.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. We'll see how
or April. I think it's in April.
Is it in April this year? Was it April? It was May last year. I don't know.
Maybe it is, or maybe no. Celebration's April. I think.
I have to be really careful because the lady before was very nice, but I think she got annoyed with my like I was like, look, I need to know if we got the panel because I need to book my guests. So,
but yeah, I think that I'd love to. I think definitely online. I think having an app bingo call would work best. But I think for in person, I'd like to get a real bingo just because it's a bit more fun when it's in person.
Yeah, well, see, that's what in person. What would you do? Like, would you just print off a crap ton of cards?
Yeah, well, I think because the way I had it was I didn't have as a spreadsheet. I had it as a Google Doc with a table on it.
So, like, I wonder if you do it in person.
I think it ended up being like 4 pages, so it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
And I didn't have much trouble. If anything, I think having it physically printed would almost be easier because I can lay it all out in front of me where I had to scroll.
Yeah, I just wonder, like, for cards wise, would you just say the first?
Oh yeah.
30 people, first however many people get bingo cards?
Yeah, I think that's what you have to just print. Oh yeah, even this kind of, yeah, I think definitely you have to print just a certain number of cards. I guess depending on how many seats we have, and just say first come first serve. Just many bingo cards.
Yeah. Bingo cards until we run out.
Yeah.
Blue Harvest is on. So you still have you fixed your beef with Haas yet?
I don't think I've seen Haas since.
The beef from Chicago.
I guess not.
I would say East Coast, West Coast, but now you were East Coast back then too. But
yeah, I'm trying to think. I guess this time we did a second card. You get a second card for charity.
Yeah.
And so that would be a little harder, I think, in person.
Well, in person we could put a QR code for if anyone had enjoyed it. Just put a QR code to a charity and let them donate on their own if they want to, or at least just become aware of a charity, and then you don't have to worry about any of that at a con. Because at a con, you kind of have to get it going and get moving,
Yeah. But I would love to do it in person. I mean, I'd love to do another online one too, but I think the biggest thing was the shipping. Also, I would definitely plan it a lot more in advance.
Well,
because last time I got the idea, like I think I got the idea when I was home, like on my birthday, like late September. I think when I got the idea, and I just like that within like an hour and a half of having the idea to do this, I'd pulled out a bunch of Rebels things we had to use as prizes and created all 75 questions.
Nice.
Within it just very suddenly came, and then I talked to you about it. We came up with some more prizes. We got the Kalkori and the helmet, and then I had to come back to California, and from there I made myself a little calendar of like when to do what, and so I settled on the end of the month to give us enough time to get prizes and stuff ready. And I made like a bunch of graphics to post online, and like have my schedule of like when I post what, when signups open, when the game is, when signups close. Oh, hi John.
Yeah, there's John chiming in. Yeah, no, I thought it went well. I mean, you scheduling it at Halloween time was probably not the best for me.
Yeah, well, and that was part of it too. It was a week. It was before Halloween.
I know, but you know how Halloween rolls for me. But no, I thought it was good because sometimes you just have to get things done the first time. Like if you wind up over talking them, we would have talked it and then it's Thanksgiving and then Christmas, and then before you know it, it just gets passed by. So
yeah.
I completely.
So I definitely plan it a bit more in advance and have prizes set before we start doing stuff.
Yeah, well, it was good. Again, I think you have an article here where you should just write about that because again, I think other podcasts might get something out of it and add to it, and so like if you have writer's block,
I would love for Trivia Bingo to pop off I think trivia bingo should be more of a thing. We do lots of trivia. I think trivia bingo could be fun.
I think you should write an article and put some samples. That's like, look, that's our first half hour of the show was bingo.
Yeah,
which was good.
Yeah,
and
I was
so
going to say something else. But yeah, it was fun. I actually have. It's funny. This isn't the first time I've had the idea for Star Wars bingo for trivia bingo. It's the first time I made it happen. I actually have. Let me see if I still have them. I might have them on the hard drive. But I have a list of. Oh no, they're in my Google Drive. I have a full, not Rebels, just general Star Wars bingo, and it's not. There's no planet ships. It's all just characters. But I have a full general Star Wars bingo. Like I have all the questions written for it. I have
maybe you should do a bonus if the people play bingo with their mask on, a Star Wars mask. Then you have a whole
full. Yeah, but I have like a list of 75 trivia bingo questions, and for just general Star Wars bingo. And some of the questions I think on that one are a little bit harder than I made the Rebels bingo one. Some of them, not all of them. But then I have like for general Star Wars bingo. And granted, I made this when I make this. I made this June 2023 is when I made this one. So it doesn't have like the Acolyte. What 2023? So it would have no Acolyte, no Ahsoka series. A couple other things is missing. But it has a lot of people from like Rebels, Clone Wars, Resistance, Boba Fett, Andor, the movies. But yeah, this is June 23, and I have 30 bingo cards already made.
Oh man! So there you go. You're ready to go.
And I still have the PSD file to make even more if I want to.
Well, again, that's what I'm thinking. So like, if you.
So and it's just it's general Star Wars.
Well, we'll shoot for Fan Expo or see what we can do. But maybe take it on the road. Go to another podcast. Maybe the Rogue Rebels will let you host one on theirs.
Yeah.
The Beskar bucket. You can play bingo. You can play bingo in a bar, in a tavern.
Ooh, it's Scum and Villainy. I wonder what it takes to get Scum and Villainy to host an event.
Well, there you go. You never hurts to ask. It seems like every time you and I have gone, it's a non-Star Wars night. Yeah. I've been there twice: sports trivia night and Harry Potter night. The 2 times I was at Scum and Villainy.
But yeah, what I would love for trivia bingo to take off. I just think it's fun. It's the balance of the trivia, which nerds love, but also a bit random. So if you're, you still have a shot, even if you don't know every single little detail.
I still think Star Wars Geek Girl trivia.
Star Wars Geek Girl trivia. I don't know if I can make 75 questions.
You have 9 years. 9 years you could come up with
75 reasonable questions to expect people to know, though.
Well, I mean, you could come. I bet you. What was Zoe's first costume when she started trooping? There's one.
Yeah, but then that's also. But then that's.
You could have a Lizzy category, a Zoe category, guests on the show category.
We have to have Periwinkle on there.
Periwinkle. You could just have you could just have one whole line of Periwinkle. Like the answer is just always Periwinkle.
I don't think that's very good bingo because how do you know if they could call the right one?
I know. But yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, see, John already got it. John's already started his. But technically, the Jawa was not sure first.
First for trooping.
Which
is what you said.
Did we make Ahsoka first?
No, it was a Jawa first.
Jawa was first? Okay. So, yeah, that's cool.
Because I started as a Jawa when I was 6, and Clone Wars came out when I was 7.
That's right.
Because I think because our first troop was in like mid-October, and I think that year we went trooping, or we went trick-or-treating as Jawas.
That's right.
That year. Right. And then the next year I was Ahsoka because that's when Clone Wars came out.
That's right. I got you. Cool. So, all right. So let's move on to. Now I even forget the topics we were going to talk about.
Well, we said You said trooping, and then also the Skeleton Crew trailer that came out.
Oh yeah. Okay. So
yesterday.
let's go to trooping first. Okay, since we both trooped, I kind of did one illegal. Not is it non-trooping troop like a not like I took
Unofficial.
unofficial. That's the word I'm looking for. I took my Sandy. Yeah, I took my Sandy to your mother's school, and we did. I was a Sandy, and then Marcus brought his Jawa riding the Gonk droid.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
and we did. It was like their haunted hallways, which was awesome. You know, um, and
I have my own Lego lightsaber here for Harry.
here, let's see the Lego lightsaber. Let's see
Oh,
it. Can we
it's
see
in
it?
the other room.
Oh,
Okay.
that you know. Okay.
So this is a
Lego lightsaber, yes.
yeah.
So,
A pool noodle, which I was worried I wouldn't be able to find in October, but Dick's Sporting Goods
there
had
you
one,
go.
and I could get curbside pickup and pick the color.
And we'll just send. I can send you
And it was
another.
right near it was right near the troop I did this morning,
Yeah.
so it worked out really well.
Yeah. Yeah. So then I trooped my school. That we did before. Remember we were all on the stage and stuff. So it was me, Chris, and Kevin. So it was a TK, a Royal Guard, and myself as a TK. Except anyone knows my TK is pretty old, and I was TKing with a guy who had the Centurion status. So it looked like a stormtrooper and some guy that just got run over by a car in a stormtrooper.
You were battle damaged stormtrooper.
Yeah, but the lighting was not good, so it really didn't matter. So, but yeah, we trooped that. It was good. It was. You've trooped in that school before. There is no airflow, like so. But how about your troop?
Yeah.
So you tell us who you trooped with, what you did, and all that stuff.
Yeah, mine was fun. So I was Sabine, and then so I was the only Mando. I was only Merc. And then we had a couple people from the Rebel Legion. We had a Jedi, and we had a Leia. And then we had, I think pretty much everyone else was 501st. Well, we had a Jawa. I'm not sure which group he was coming.
They could have been for both.
Jawas could have been either.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, my costume is also Rebel Legion, but I got to represent the Merc, so I was the only one there.
Yeah.
And then yes, we had a Jawa, and then we had a really good Kylo. I feel like I don't see as many Kylos around anymore, but we had a great Kylo. And
well, we have watching. So we have the Ohio Kylo.
Yes. And then we had a Krennic, that's also very good. We had a couple of officers, and we had is it the AT pilots are the gray ones with the red cog?
Oh yeah. It's weird that you have a California. It's weird that you have an AT-AT driver in California.
Well, I think it's like someone said that there's a lot of snowies here, and we have a lot of sandies in PA. I think this is someone.
Yeah, but even the snow skies here seem out of place a lot of times in the year. When it's like warm, you're like, because they have to wear those like big puffy boots and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, I mean I'm glad.
I think that's all we had. Yeah, there weren't a lot of buckets. It was like me, Kylo, and the AT-AT were the only buckets, and the Jawa and the mask, but a lot of fates.
And then you told them you were trooping for 17 years, and they were
yeah. So I'd only met one of them before. Yeah, I'd only met one of them before the lay, but it was a really nice troop. It was Ability First, which is like a company that's like this. It's a charity for like kids and adults with Down syndrome. But I was like the host of it. Was all these like different groups that were there, and it was a stroll and roll. So it was in front of a racetrack, like a horse racing track. Yeah. And it was just they had a little pathway in the front where all the people like during the event they would kind of loop around, and they just it wasn't like a race. It was like, it's kind of like a race, but no one's like running or anything. Just a nice walk, and then on the walk there were these like different tables that different groups had, like giving out free stuff, or like if some of them were like programs like for disabled adults and things. So they walked through that, and they came back to the finish line. When they got to the finish line, they got a little medal that they would do.
It sounds like that. Remember we used to do it in Villanova? Remember we used to do
it was very similar to that.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, it was really fun. They had us, so we cheered them on when they all started. So we were all cheering them on, and then we walked around for a little bit, kind of like there's a few middle points where we could see them. It wasn't a very long walk.
Right.
And then when they were coming into the finish line, we were cheering them on at the finish line when they were coming in. And then we walked around for a little bit afterwards, because even after that was over, like they could still go back to the tables and stuff and like talk to them and do activities and things they had. We still stayed for a little bit. And then they only had us there. I don't know how long the event went on. It was still going when we left. They had like little auctions and stuff, but they only had us there till 12 was like the end time for on our side is what the troop was listed as. So that's cool. Yeah. So yeah, we were only there from 10 to 12. So it was a quick troop. And I honestly think there weren't that many people there. They were kind of done with us by 12. They're like, all right, we've seen you.
Yeah, sometimes when you do those events, when you do those events at a certain point, you kind of know, like, hey, they don't need us anymore. Because
sometimes you do long events. Because sometimes with long events, it makes sense because people are coming and going, so you're new to people as they come in. But the events like this one, where it's really the same people all day, you get old after a while.
Yeah, they're like, I got your picture like 6 other times. So
yeah. So so that was kind of nice. I think
I think the last troop I did like that was we did that Star Wars Star Paws or something.
Wars or something.
Yeah, the one that they yelled at me for wearing that shirt. But that's the last one of those I did, and I just remember the dog peed on my leg. I was in my TK, and I yelled over to the lady, "Did someone get a picture of it?" And because she thought I was mad, I just wanted, if a dog's going to pee on my leg while I'm standing in the stormtroopers, it's like an awesome picture.
Yeah, it was a really fun event. There weren't any horse races on the track we were at, like at that day. I don't think I didn't see the horses. You can smell them though. But our dressing room was like below the track area, and it was next. I don't know what it's called. I was telling you, I haven't seen one of these in real life. I thought it was just a thing in movies, but like the gambling room of the horse track, where they have all the TVs like playing the horse races, and they have all the guys like smoking, and they got like a newspaper, and they're like writing stuff down. They have little gambling machines, not slot machines, but like gambling machines for the horse races or something. Where
I don't gamble, so I don't. But I know what you mean. Yeah,
I don't know, but they had all that stuff. I like I said, I thought that was like a movie thing. I didn't think it was like still a real thing. That's next to them. It was, but when we first, like before we went up, we were like, oh, we should get like a quick group picture for the mission report before we do. And we asked one of the gamblers to do it. And as we're getting, it was like not even 15 seconds as we're like all like lining up for the picture. This guy hears something from the horse race and like bolts away. We're just like, wait, where'd our guy go? Take a picture. And so someone else took it for us. But it was great, and after like we'd be in the changing room like all getting ready, and like all of a sudden they'd all just start like yelling, or they're like a mix of good and bad. Like it's not like a sport, like because we actually got lunch after like a sports bar.
Oh yeah.
College football games, and so I think UCLA was playing, so like basically everybody there was probably rooting for UCLA. So like it was like all like positive cheers all at once in the sports bar. It was like a mix
of everything. Well, because someone was going to eat that day, and someone was going to have to go explain they lost a lot of money.
But yeah, it was all I could think though was in Star Wars Outlaws, you can bet on Fathier races, and I was like, this is just like the Fathier races. In Outlaws, it's a hologram, not a screen. But it was at the very end of the event when we were walking back into the changing room. One of the characters said to one of the gamblers, he said, "May the horse be with you," And I don't think that guy was having a good day. He didn't seem to think it was very funny.
Yeah, you could really upset. You could throw some bad luck. Now, what were the garrisons or groups that you, if you know?
Yeah. Well, so I was there. I guess. I mean, I'm not officially Mandalore. I guess I'm still Mavoila.
Okay,
I think
yeah,
technically.
all
I
of the
think you have to like. I
Mandalorians.
think you have to like make a transfer. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was trooping through Mandalore, and then 501st I think was SoCal Garrison,
Okay.
and Rebel Legion is split really weird in this area. I'm pretty sure it was Sunrider.
What's the other one? Is there
Was
another base?
I don't know. I don't know. They were talking about other bases, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
You need to
Honestly, I barely know the different groups in our area back home. So
I only
I
get I only
I
get
own
confused with
like
the Mando Mercs.
yeah. Well, Mando
Because they got
Mercs,
all those weird Mando names that I can barely
yeah.
pronounce English names, let alone with all these
Um,
extra symbols.
um, but like I don't know what the I don't know what the clans are. I know PA's Mavoila. I don't know what the other Mando clans are out
Yeah,
there. What 501st is? Yeah, Carida, Star Killer, First State.
yeah.
What's Maryland?
Maryland is old line.
Old line.
Yeah, Bill
And then
said
Rebel
goodnight.
Legion.
Don't forget to turn your clock back.
Oh yeah, and then Rebel Legion is ghost based in PA. Oh,
Yeah,
did they split? I don't remember. I
I
remember
think
I
they
had to
did
vote
split.
on if
I think they did.
I remember I had to vote on, or I was supposed to vote on if ghost based would split or not, and I was like, man, I don't know. So,
Yeah, they're all
like
split.
I'm still ghost based. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't pay attention to that. To be honest,
yeah. It's almost
we're
like
all
you
trooping.
need a
We're all
map.
trooping.
You just need a map.
Yeah.
They should just
We're all trooping, you know, we're all here for a good time to do some good. That's
yeah,
all that's
yeah.
as far as I pay attention sometimes. To be
Yeah, well, the only problem we have where we live is if you don't pay attention to the groups, you don't know the activities. Like because Maryland, like even though like we live what 15 miles from Maryland.
Mhm.
If you don't go on the Maryland boards,
You don't know
you
what's
don't know
going
what's
on down there.
happening, and it's sometimes closer than the ones to where you live.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I have because I'm on the 501st boards and I'm on the Rebel Legion and the Mando Mercs boards.
uh
I usually end up trooping more through the Mercs boards
yeah,
just because I personally find the Mercs boards a bit easier to navigate. They just make more sense to my brain than the way Rebel Legion has it set up.
yeah, yeah.
Plus I think because
Depending.
Rebel Legion has separate, like a whole separate site for each
Oh
group.
yeah,
So like I'm like on the Rebel Legion forum and the Ghost Base forum, which are separate, and the
yeah.
Sunrider forum. I got invited to the Sunrider forum last time I was here.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like a bunch of different ones to check. Where the Mando Mercs, it's all one site.
Yeah.
So I definitely need to check the Rebel Legion ones more. I just find the Mercs are easier to navigate for me.
Yeah, that's how I'm just trying to find, ones that are that
Yeah, it's just hard for me right now because I work a lot of weekends.
Yeah.
And I don't get my schedule till late. So unless the troop's far enough out where I can,
Yeah.
take time off for it, if I really want to prioritize it, like it's hard to.
You could troop with the Rogue Rebels now if Lizzy can't go.
I could troop with the Rogue Rebels. I'm not sure if they're how often they troop because they're all pretty busy too.
Yeah.
Axel got a job now.
Huh?
Axel got a job now,
Yeah, maybe you and Axel could just troop. Like
that'd be fun.
But
yeah, the troop today was really fun. Yeah. But yeah, it was like I said, the only person I knew was the Leia. I'd met her before.
I was trying to figure out who that was. You said Mara Jade. I think does she do an Ahsoka as well?
No, I think she just did Leia and Mara. I think.
Does she have an accent? Does she have an accent?
No.
Oh, then I'm thinking of a different girl. No, we met her. We met the one girl that she was dressed as the girl from Battlefront.
Yeah, no, it wasn't her. It wasn't
her.
But yeah, we it was funny because like I said, I only knew the one. I'm gonna move because my laptop's dying. Gotta go plug it in.
Yeah.
But I had to live with the one girl, and so I was talking to the other ones, and they were very sweet. Like they were all very very nice. I don't want to make it sound like they were being mean to me because they were definitely not. But they were like, oh, and one of them was like, oh, like, are you new to trooping? Because I'm young and they've never seen me before, and I was like, well, no. I've been trooping for 17 years, and you can see their eyes pop out of their heads.
They were doing some math. They were like, what is this?
Yeah, someone was like, he goes, wait, how old are you?
Did they ask that for real?
Yes. And I was like, I'm 23. So I started trooping. I think someone else asked, like, oh, how long have you been in the Mercs? And I was like, well, I've been in the Mercs for 5 years, but I was in the GA before that. And yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, well, then for Halloween, like I wore my TK to hand out candy, so that's kind of like trooping. I couldn't put my helmet on though; it was so hot. Like it was like almost 80 degrees.
Yeah, I did a kind of unofficial troop Halloween too, because at work they're doing screenings for some local schools of Transformers 1, and they said, and I was planning to wear my uniform for work.
Yeah.
I had no plans of anything. And then the night before, like in the evening before, my manager emails that it was 4 of us working the event. And she said that it was being run by one of our teams. They said you can wear either business casual or a Halloween costume.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, well, the only costumes I have here with me right now are Sabine and my actual Halloween costume, which was Maxine.
Yeah.
And I was like, Maxine's a horror movie, probably not appropriate for kids or work.
Right.
Just like a dress. And I was like, let's do Sabine. And so I think our call time was 7:30 for this shift. And so I got to work an hour early so I could put, because I put the wig on and the clothes and boots. And that's what I drove in. And then I put my armor on in the parking garage.
Yeah.
And so it was like 6:30 in the morning, and I'm putting my armor on in the parking garage at work. And it was like all the crew guys from the productions are pulling in. They're like looking at me and they're like, how are you doing?
That's funny.
And yeah, then I walked over and we handed out. We had kids coming in. We were like just kind of ushering them into the seats. Because we had 3 shows, so we had to like get the kids in and out to make sure.
Right.
Show. And so we're ushering the kids in and directing, and most kids didn't seem to know Sabine, but they were still really like, whoa. It was also because it was Transformers screenings.
Yeah.
I had a lot of kids be like, oh, what Transformer are you?
Now, did your coworkers knew who she was, right?
Yes, some of them did. But yeah, and it was funny, and it was so we did that, and then we went because we weren't working with our managers at all. It was me, a couple of my fellow pages, and then people on the events team. Because I brought a change of like normal clothes. Like I brought business casual. So I was like, in case they think this is too much. Also, because I work at the Star Trek place, and it is a Star Wars costume.
Yeah.
But they loved it. So they said it was great. Kids really liked it. A lot of kids were like, "Where's Grogu?" Wrong show.
Haven't met him yet.
Haven't met him yet. It was funny, and it was funny. We went on our lunch break, and so we went into our break room. And since when all the other pages there, that was a hit too. It was funny. Just walking around. A lot of tours were going through. Like my coworkers are doing tours, and I was waving at all the tours, and I felt a little bad because I could tell their guests were not listening to anything they were saying.
Right.
They're looking at me. And yeah, it was fun. I discovered my manager was one of my managers was a huge Star Wars fan, which I didn't know. That was really cool.
Now, did you tell him? You should tell him about your appearance on Our Star Wars Stories.
I think I did when he asked.
Oh, okay, good.
He was on, like, he said, yeah, you must be a big Star Wars fan. I was like, you want to know how big? I think I did say it. Yeah, it was fun. And then, so we did the screening for the kids. Huge hand. We were giving them like posters and keychains. Actually, they had a ton extra. I grabbed a Bumblebee poster for Safi.
Oh, nice.
She likes Bumblebee. We also got they let us watch the movie for the last screening.
Yeah.
Have you seen Transformers 1?
I have not. Is it good?
As someone who's only seen one other Transformers movie, I liked it all.
Oh, good.
Because I think the only other Transformers I've seen in full was Bumblebee.
Yeah, Bumblebee. I really like Bumblebee. The other ones are alright, but I really like Bumblebee.
I don't know if this one, because it's animated, I think one of my coworkers is a Transformers expert, but I think it's like a prequel, or maybe it's not connected at all, but I think it's like, because they're not on Earth.
Yeah.
They're on the Transformers planet the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the movie. And
cool.
Yeah, that was fun. That was my unofficial troop on Halloween. And then we went, we had it was a coworker. We had a costume Halloween party after, and everyone's like, "You're wearing 2 costumes in one day."
You're like, you don't even know how I live.
Because I think I was in Sabine. I was in Sabine from like 6:30 when I was putting it on until I took it off, which I didn't get back to my car until like 3:30. So I was in Sabine for like 9 hours. So I was like, because someone's like, "Oh, you're gonna wear this to Halloween party tonight?" I was like, "No, I'm wearing something a lot more comfortable."
Yeah.
Because my Halloween costume was a dress and a jacket and a wig, and that was it. Because I was Maxine. Yeah, that was my unofficial trip. It was really fun. Got some pictures in front of the Bronson Gate in Sabine, which was cool.
Cool. Which leaves us to the.
They were like, "Oh, we're gonna train you guys on this new stage we're getting for tours," and so I was walking around one of this stage. I won't say which one, but
did anyone get pictures of you in that?
No, we can't take pictures in there.
Oh,
we can't take pictures in a set.
Oh, okay.
But that was fun. Yeah, it was a fun day, fun Halloween.
So, which leaves us with the last part of our show today is Skeleton Crew.
Yes.
Now, first off, if you remember in London when we watched the first trailer, remember I said that was the one I was looking forward to the most back when we saw it in London. And they're showing more and more. I almost don't want to see anymore because I think it's going to be so good. But I want I wish I would have seen the pirates in that one.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the pirates are a big part of the marketing now. So that's So I'm just like, okay, they're showing us a lot of the pirates. What are they hiding? You know?
Yeah. Here, I wonder if we can show the. I wonder if we can show the trailer on here. Let me see.
But yeah, I like that trailer a lot. Okay, we'll play it because it's not long. It was only like it's like 2 minutes.
Is it still sharing? Because I just.
Yeah, it's still sharing.
I can't
this
see.
This might get you copyright strike when you post the podcast though after.
Huh?
This might get you copyright strike when you post the.
Oh, I don't care.
Post it after we're done.
Well, we can talk over it though, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you mute it, if you want to. It's really just the sound. I'm not rid of the video as much as the sound. Sound's always is what gets you.
Well, we'll see what happens.
I will say because it's muted. I really like.
Let me see if I can turn this volume down.
I really like the music in this trailer.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know. I guess it is like a real song that they did a Hutties cover of.
Yeah, I forgot the name of the song.
Which I didn't know. I was just like, this song's great. This is a great trailer music.
Well, and I like the font.
But,
like the fonts is very retro too.
Yeah, but
and all the we're watching it here with like all the different parts of the ship. You know, that jacket the girl has like a World War II bomber feel to it.
Yeah, it feels I just like it's very much I think this is what I said in our podcast with Lizzy. I feel like it's the closest we might ever get to Spielberg doing Star Wars.
Yeah.
What this is. Cuz it seems very influenced by like the Goonies and all those kinds of things. Like you have these kids taken along on an adventure. And I think this show's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
I love that droid.
Yeah. Yeah. I see the droid. You know. Yeah. It's
um,
the ships.
I
The
still
ships.
I still don't think Jude Law's a real Jedi. I think he's
No,
faking.
I'm gonna
I
agree
don't
with you
know.
on that one.
I don't know if he's a bad guy, but I don't think he's a Jedi. I think he's a big fat liar.
I think he's just gonna be like a like a scoundrel that has to
Hmm.
not be a scoundrel to help the kids or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's my take on
Like
it.
you think he's almost gonna be if Kanan wasn't a Jedi. Like when you first meet Kanan and he's
Yeah.
just a scoundrel who kind of doing
Yeah.
some good before you
Yeah.
really know he's a Jedi. I mean, obviously we know, but like before he's acting like a Jedi, I think that's what this guy's kind of gonna be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just about the Force,
Because
but
we've had two series with a lot of Jedi. We've had
yeah,
Ahsoka and we've had the Acolyte.
yeah.
So
We've also had what Mando, Book of Boba Fett,
yeah,
Andor, a lot of shows without Jedi. We've
yeah.
had a lot of Jedi.
So yeah, this might be like for the people who want more of a Han Solo esque feel.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah, but I think it's gonna be great. I love all the kids look great.
yeah, yeah,
Um, Neil's very cute. All the kids are very cute. I like the girl with the bomber jacket. She seems like she's gonna be a really fun character,
yeah,
kind of the troublemaker kind of kid. Um, yeah, I'm excited for the show. Yeah, like I said, maybe it's because I didn't, because I did see a few people complain that it was a real song, like a Huttese cover of a real song, and they say took them out of it. Which first of all, it's a trailer, so it might not even be in the show.
right,
Um,
right,
but maybe it's just because I didn't recognize the song, but I thought it was fantastic.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and because I think in general, like I wouldn't want real life songs to pop up in Star Wars. Like I don't know if I wouldn't like
yeah.
it's not like Marvel where you have those needle drops, but I think doing Huttese covers of songs like this one, if they're
Yeah.
selective on which songs they do, I think works fantastic.
Well, and it's some of those '80s songs. If you actually listen to the words, they're probably more aligned with a, a fake universe than the real universe. You know what I mean? Like some of those songs back then were just a little. I have to figure out which song it is because I know the
Hmm.
tune, and I forget who sings it. Um,
Someone
but yeah,
posted it, but
yeah,
yeah. So maybe it's just because I didn't recognize it, so it didn't like take me out or anything. But
yeah,
I thought I loved the music. I was like, "This is great. I hope the whole show is music like this."
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
like I wouldn't want Star Wars to need like I wouldn't want Star Wars to do like a Guardians of the Galaxy when they're needle
right,
dropping
right,
like a real
right.
song. But I think you
But
know music
this
like
could
this.
be if they take the right songs and Star Wars them and put them in, you could have a Guardians of the Galaxy adjacent type soundtrack for the right
Yeah.
characters. Like if you're
Well, and I think
pirates,
because we have like I have a whole playlist of music that's from the Star Wars universe. So like
yeah,
the stuff they play at Oga's Cantina, like the music Zeb's listening to. Like I think having diegetic music in Star Wars, I
yeah,
think is awesome. I there's one of my favorite characters in it's books. One of my favorite characters in the book's Alphabet Squadron. It's a trilogy. Amazing books. If you haven't read them, highly recommend. I hear the audio. I read them. I hear the audiobooks are very good. But for Alphabet Squadron, one of the characters, Chasna Chedick, she's a pilot. She flies. So the Alphabet Squadron, they each have an A wing. There's an A wing, a B wing, an X wing, a Y wing, a U wing.
that's
Like
why
it's
it's an
all it's
alphabet
like
squadron,
Alphabet
right?
Squadron because it's all the.
Yeah,
I forget which one. I think Chas is. I think she's the Y wing. I think. Either way, she's flying her ship, and her thing is that she's always blasting music when she's in a battle, like
well, and
blasting like rock music. And
that's
so I think
based on the
that's like a really fun like have characters flying around listening to music and you
well.
know
There was a movie in the '80s that did that exact same thing. It was kind of like if I tried to watch it. It was on. It's on all the time. I think it's called Iron Eagle, and it's about this kid who learn how to fly a fighter jet, and he listened to music while he was playing. And this is how old the movie is. He was in a fighter jet, and he had a cassette player strapped to his
Mm.
leg, and he would almost have like a mixtape of music to play when he was fighting the bad guys, you know. So which is
But
pretty cool, you know.
but I think seeing her characters like her, like listening to music and stuff, like I think like if we're gonna have music like this in the show, you have pirates. Pirates would be listening to music while they're
Yeah.
raiding ships and flying around and
Well, and if
um but
if it fits the how the show feels, then I'm fine
mhm.
with all of that.
Which I think this song did. And so I
Yeah.
think, I think Hati's covers of 80s songs sounds
Yeah.
really, really fun, and I
Yeah.
hope they put out a whole like album on
Yeah.
Spotify because I'll be listening if they
Yeah.
do. I already do love listening to like the Oga's playlist. And the Outlaws is really good. And Outlaws, if you go to a cantina, there's jukeboxes, and you can pick
Oh
a
yeah.
song with the jukebox. They have those on Spotify too. That's on my playlist.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
that's
so I love that kind of stuff. Um, and
yeah. Well, and I
maybe
see
we'll get
you.
more songs from the Dusty Jawas, the greatest band of all time, with their
Well, that
hit
could
single.
be. See, there's your second article. Tell people like me how to find that music and make playlists of it, because like I would put those playlists on while I work in the garage,
Yeah,
because like if
and
I
I
run
know.
out of Star Wars podcast, unfortunately my podcast tend to stray towards political stuff, and then I just get angry. So if I could
Mm,
stay away from doing that and
Star Wars music.
just do music.
Yeah, you got
FJ is
Utini
on. Hi,
by the
FJ.
Dusty Jawas. You got one oh there's a good band. That's the other thing with this with the Cantina playlist. They all have the other one, Jedi Survivor, has a good playlist of a good album of their diegetic music. But the what I really like about the the Cantina is that they have the in universe names of the artists.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so you have you have like Sentient Seven and the Clankers is a droid. Their song droid. We got the Dusty Jawas. You got Ewok This Way. Um, you got the
You
Love
walk this
Cat.
way.
Ewok This Way.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Oh, and you have the Star Cruiser album with Gaia's music. That's a costume I think I would want to make for the next celebration I go to. Would be a Gaia fan, like a Gaia concert goer. Because
Oh,
remember,
there you go.
Taylor Swift fans, they all make the friendship bracelets of her songs. I would make friendship bracelets of all of Gaia's songs and have
That's
like make
funny.
like a Gaia T-shirt. And my costume would be a Gaia concert goer.
Cool.
But and of course you can't forget the best diegetic song of all time in Star Wars, besides Utini by the Dusty Jawas, and that's
What's
Ikya
that?
Ka,
What?
the song that Sabine's listening to.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was my
Computer.
next question. Like, because I do remember that song from Sabine. That's probably one of my favorite songs.
That
And the whole
that
sound.
song sometimes I skip that song when it comes up on the playlist because if I'm sitting in traffic, I can't listen to it because I'm like, I gotta go. If I'm
Yeah,
listening to a song, I'm going 65 miles an hour.
yeah. Well, don't listen to it on the 110 when there's coming home from work. So, well, look, that's a good man. I thought we were going to talk for 15 minutes, and we talked for an hour and 13. So we got behind the scenes of the
Bingo,
bingo.
Trooping,
We got trooping.
Skeleton
We
Crew.
we got what else do we do? We got skeleton crew.
Bingo, Trooping, Skeleton Crew. That's what we talked about.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm really excited for Skeleton Crew. It'll be really great to have Star Wars in December again.
Yes.
Because I think the last time we had Star Wars, like last time we had something big Star Wars in December, so not kind of like the Lego specials and stuff, like something really big was Book of Boba Fett. And that came out like December 31st. Like it hardly even counts.
Right, and that also came out
nice.
at the end of the pandemic, so we couldn't really do anything. Remember?
So it'll be nice to have, where Skeleton Crew starts in the beginning of December. So it'll be nice to have like a Star Wars holiday season again, I think.
Yeah. Well,
I think
I'm hoping you guys out there troop the premiere?
Yeah, I don't know. But I'm excited. I keep on my tours sometimes I talk about matte paintings at work, and so I'll always shout out, if you want to see modern matte paintings, Skeleton Crew comes out.
Yeah.
Because they use matte paintings for Skeleton Crew. That's this show has so many puppets and animatronics, and they use matte paintings, like all these I think that's a big part of what makes it feel so like Spielberg and so 80s, is the fact that they're using all these techniques.
Yeah.
But then it still looks modern and clean.
Yeah.
And I think this is also, the director's lineup is crazy for this
nice.
show. You have
How many
Bryce Dallas
episodes
Howard
is it?
on it. I think it's 8.
8? Okay. I hope someday that seasons go back to like 16 or 20.
I know. Well, that was nice with the Bad Batch. I think the Bad Batch was 14 this last season.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, Andor too. Andor was 12. So I hope they're 12 this season again too. But I do miss the longer seasons. I was actually just thinking about this the other day, where, with Rebels, because Rebels seasons 1 and 4 were shorter, but seasons 2 and 3 were 22 episodes each.
Yeah.
And I feel like because we had all the extra time, these little adventures, we got to know those characters so well. Like, you learn little things like Hera's favorite fruit, and how Sabine likes to draw, and how Zeb likes waffles, and like all these little things. Right. I think sometimes we're missing that with some of the newer shows, because you only have 8 episodes, so you have to kind of like just go.
Yeah.
As far as the plot, you don't have those little moments to rest and learn things. The only exception to that, I think, is Mando, because Mando is 3 seasons versus most of these shows just have 1.
Yeah. Well, that was a show. I don't know what music I'm going to put on it to edit it. I might just throw it up on your feed and get you closer to 300.
Yeah.
And see what we can do for a 300.
Yeah.
It's 11 o'clock here, which is technically only 10 because we're going to turn the clocks back.
I know. We're almost 2 weeks away from Life Day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm planning my Life Day dinner I'm going to make.
Yeah. What do you have for Life Day dinner?
Well, I'm hoping to have the paralysis over, but I have a bunch of Life Day recipes saved from Life Day cookbook. So I think I was going to make bantha surprise, which is a delicacy soup on Kashyyyk. I'm not using real bantha, though. I'm using tofu.
Okay. Instead. Yeah, it's hard to get bantha this time of year anyway.
I was debating between Rocher bramble casserole and the bantha surprise.
Maybe
the Rocher
you should
bramble
put that
casserole. Rocher bramble casserole just isn't like a really traditional dish.
Oh. It's for the posers of Life Day.
Not posers. It's just like the Rocher tree is really important to Life Day, but the Rocher isn't. That's not a traditional dish.
Oh, okay.
So I went with the bantha surprise. I'm also gonna make some Rocher sap cider, because that is a traditional drink. And then for sides, I was gonna make some dinner rolls. I was thinking about making dinner rolls, but I decided to use the energy I would use to make bread into making sides and desserts instead. So I'm going to make plicated orga root, which is an important part of Life Day traditions on Kashyyyk, as well as spine tree spears, which are not a Kashyyyk Life Day dish, but they're a common Life Day dish on Lothal. Okay. And then walnut sprouts, which are another traditional Life Day dish, as well as shishak fruit bowls.
Okay.
Also big parts of Life Day. Shishak fruit is important. And then I was going to make kabatha crisps. Now, kabatha is a creature on Kashyyyk, and the Wookiees eat the guts of these creatures.
Of course they do.
Now, the problem is the Wookiees are one of the only species able to digest.
Oh, okay.
Kabatha guts. So the chef who wrote the Life Day cookbook, Cookie is his nickname, he decided to make a more palatable version of kabatha guts. Yeah. It's actually a fried treat. I think I made them actually for Life Day last year at home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's what I think. I'm debating on if I'm going to do the sprouts or the spears. I might cut one of those.
Oh, okay.
Um, so I got to figure that out because that is a lot of cooking for just one little Zoe.
That's true. That's true.
Um, but yeah, it's also debating making bantha milk hot chocolate, but I decided not to.
Yeah. Well, you might not want hot chocolate anyway in
Just
California.
yeah, just the cider uh, instead. And I'll have my orange juice too.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I was gonna run a little game of D&D, Star Wars D&D.
Oh, nice.
You have to save Life Day.
You should make
what do you have to save it from? I'm still figuring out. So I
base
got to plan
the
that.
story on the. You should just base the whole story on the holiday special.
Yeah, but yeah, I got to figure out what they're saving Life Day from. I mean, probably the Empire. They seem like the ones to steal Life Day. You know?
Maybe the Empire wants to commercialize it and have like a Santa Claus type character.
Then what do you do about that in a single D&D game?
I don't know.
You kill Santa Claus?
Yeah, there you go. Kill baby Hitler. No, I don't know. All right, kiddo. That's a show. I'm gonna hit stop and thank you for all the people.
Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to check out StarWarsGeekGirl.com.
Yes.
At SW Geek Girl on Instagram, Facebook. We have a monthly poll on so you can on StarWarsGeekGirl.com. We have a monthly poll you can vote in. So last month we voted Harrison Dula as our favorite Rebels character.
Nice.
From the Ghost Crew. This month we're voting on our favorite Life Day tradition. So you can vote for that on StarWarsGeekGirl.com. If you want updates on new blog posts, you can sign up on the blog page to get a notification and subscribe every single time there's a blog post, which isn't too much. I'm not going to blow up your inbox. But if you don't want notifications for every blog post, but you do want our monthly newsletter, you can sign up on the home page to just get the newsletter that comes out at the beginning of every month. So we had one sent out yesterday. So if you sign up now, the next one you'll get will be December. December 1st. Oh, if you're subscribed to the blog, you still get the newsletter anyway. You don't have to sign up for both.
And where can they find Lizzy?
Lizzy. So Lizzy's on TikTok as at Rogue Rebels 17. I think that's probably a public one. And then you can also find the Rogue Rebels at theroguerebels.com. I think Sal's usually the only one that writes stuff. Every once in a while, one of the family will write something too. But you can also follow them at the Rogue Rebels on Instagram and TikTok, and at Rogue Rebels Fam on Twitter. And they're also Rogue Rebels on Twitch. Sal streams Star Wars Outlaws. So you should get on to his streams and tell him to finish the story already so I can podcast with someone about it. And just kidding, be nice. And oh gosh, what else is the Rogue Rebels on? I think that was everything. Instagram. Oh, Facebook, the Rogue Rebels. Also for us, Facebook, Star Wars Geek Girl. I think that's it for Rogue. Oh, and listen to the Rogue Rebels podcast and the Star Wars Geek Girl podcast wherever you're listening to this podcast.
Yes, and I'll throw this on the Star Wars Geek Girl feed. Yes. And then you can find me every Wednesday, most every Wednesday, on the Inflatable Falcon with John and Ken. John has the Best Car Bucket, and Ken has Rambling Star Wars Fan, and what's his Mando show?
Is it Thank?
No. But
not Thank the Maker. That was like the old name.
No, but anyway, so you can find all of us here, and
you can find me personally on Instagram and TikTok at Spectre_5.
Yep.
And on Twitter is at Zoika.
You can find me at Hidden Star Wars Family. You can't find me on Twitter. I deleted my Twitter account.
But. Yeah. And remember, if you're in the United States, remember to go vote.
Yes,
on Tuesday.
All right, I'm going to end this stream. Thank you, everybody.